I don't know where I'm gonna put all of these. Hi, my name is Kayla and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be going through a April book haul, and this is going to be a mix of books I got from Shelves in the City, which is a big box of books, as well as ARCs and books I've been sent as PR. So without further ado, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and let's get into this month's book haul. So let's dive into the books from Shelves in the City first, and let's get through this box. One of the first books in this haul that I am so excited to share is Catabasis. This was at Shelves in the City, and when I saw this, I like blanked out. So Catabasis is a noun from ancient Greek, and I'm just going to read what it says on the back because I feel like it encompasses that the best. The story of a hero's descent to the underworld. So this follows two students at what I presume to maybe be like a magical university. I have not read this yet. I know that once I start it, I'm going to be unable to stop, so I'm waiting until I have a date where I can like read through this whole thing in one sitting. So this book follows Alice Law and then her rival Peter Murdoch. So there is a magical accident and their professor Jacob Grimes dies at Cambridge, and they decide to go to hell to get him back. I have purposely avoided a lot of information about this book so that I could just digest it without any expectations, but it mentions that they use the tales of Orpheus and from Dante's Inferno as a guide. I have a degree in history and English, and I don't think you understand how happy the prospect of this book makes me. I am so excited to dive into this book. It is gonna be such, I feel like I already know it's gonna be 5 stars, but I will keep you updated on my progress and maybe do a reading vlog of this, because I don't know how much I can share because it is an ARC, but I feel like we can still have a fun experience kind of going through it together and me just giving you my general like reactions and feelings without giving away plot specific elements. Next we have House of the Beast, which I have already read and completed. I read this on my way home and then the days after Shelves in the City. Somebody pitched this as like Full Metal Alchemist vibes, and I 100% think that that is correct. So this is a high fantasy novel steeped in a world of dark gods and champions and a competition to kill a sort of not like falling star, but something that for plot reasons I cannot tell you needs to be offed by the champions of these gods. And this follows our main character Alma, and it is a tale of revenge. Okay, she is a brutal, morally gray FMC, my favorite type, dare I say, and she has made a deal with a dark god, one of these gods. That's all I'm gonna say about this book. This was a 5-star read, and it comes out August 25th, and I cannot recommend it enough. So this is the second book that I picked up at Shelves in the City. And then I also was able to get my hands on this gorgeous special edition of The Poppy War. Okay, and it's signed. It is a trilogy by RF. Check trigger warnings before you dive into it, but let me tell you, it is one of the best fantasy series I have ever read, and I actually have a whole video planned on that series, so keep an eye out for that. But that's the third book I picked up. Next we have a book that matches my Baldur's Gate shirt, so I think that's pretty cool, but it is Transmogrify 14 Fantastical Tales of Trans Magic. And when I saw Magic is for Everyone, I knew immediately I had to pick this up. This book is essentially 14 short stories written by trans and non-binary authors. And then right here, you can see the authors included in this. Not only is this book absolutely stunning, but I love the premise and think that this is such a celebration of storytelling. And in the current climate, more now than ever, we need to support books like this. So very excited to read this. This next one also deals with dark gods. It's almost like I have a type when it comes to books. This is called Where Shadows Bloom, and this gave me a very like anime-esque vibe, so I knew immediately I wanted to pick it up. I'm just gonna read the back because I feel like it encompasses the best way to explain this book. An ancient god, a wicked bargain, and a love more powerful than the darkness. Yes, please. Yes, please. This book was a no-brainer to pick up, and I am really excited to dive into it. Next, we have Warrior Princess Assassin. And if you are not intrigued by that title alone, then I think you're on the wrong book page, and we can't be friends. This isn't gonna work out. Okay, because what do you mean? So this book is supposed to have yearning, tension. You follow 3 main characters and spice, and frankly, I'm sat and I'm invested already. And again, I can't wait to tell you what I think about this book. This one comes out in August. So I love this because a princess caught between duty and desire, the fearsome warrior king she's promised to, and the assassin tasked with hunting them down. Are you not intrigued by that dynamic? Because I am. Because I am. And I have a feeling that this book is gonna wreck me. So, cheers to that. So another fact about me is that I love forbidden romances. I eat them up. It's like a 7-course meal. It is a gift that keeps on giving, right? I love that trope. So when I saw there was a signed edition of this book, I said, "You're coming home with me." So this is a story about clashing empires, a Persian-inspired mythological fantasy world. It has tension, it has forbidden romance, everything you could ever want and more. This book is a gift that keeps on giving. Also, so I loved, what is it called? First Time Caller. I read it on my Kindle when it came out, and when I found out that B.K. Morrison's next book, a holiday romance, was there, I, again, blacked out, and then it was in my box. Very excited about this book. Good Spirits, not only is the cover absolutely adorable, but I cannot wait to dive into another one of B.K. Morrison's books. I really love her writing style and think that this one is going to be fun. And the back says, "You make me hope, Harriet. You make me want. I am haunted by you." Give me 27 more of these. When I saw this arc was on the table, I lost my mind, as per many of these books, because I followed this author. Okay, because not only is this absolutely stunning, but again, it has a dangerous, dark deal, and you know how much I love those. The Serpent King is looking for a bride. She's looking for a way out. Say less. I'm really excited to read this. This book, I saw the cover for, and I again said, "You're coming home with me." Okay? The Queen's Spade. Heavy is the crown, bloody is revenge, and then I flipped it over. Murder, desire, and a Machiavellian plotting combined in this unflinching page-turner. Revenge and justice have never been so satisfying. Yeah, remember earlier when I said that I love ruthless, revenge, morally gray FMCs? Well, here we are. And I am so excited to dive into this book. I literally am like having a crisis because I have a huge TBR, right? It's never ending. I'm being crushed under it every single day. But now I have so many books that I'm like, I need to read ASAP. But there's literally not enough hours in a day. So next we have Thorn Season, and I picked this up specifically because of the author's note, because there's no like synopsis, like this is a very early arc of it. And I can't say much about it yet, but I'm very excited to read and review this, so keep your eyes out for Thorn Season by Kira Azar. So all of these books are pretty much fantasy novels. It's almost like I have a chosen genre, if you will, but I wanted to make sure that I grabbed two contemporary novels because I got range as a reader, okay, and I don't mind a contemporary novel, so I picked up two. So the first one I grabbed was Margot's Got Money Troubles by Rufi Thorpe, author of The Knockout Queen, which I really loved, so I was like immediately, I need to pick this up. And the cover is gorgeous and seems very relatable, so very excited to dive into this novel. And then we have Summer in the City by Alex Astor, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really like Light Lark. So I'm curious to see if I'm going to enjoy her writing style and maybe vibe a little bit more with a more contemporary focused work of hers instead of something that's like high fantasy. So again, this book is really, really pretty, so we're giving this author a second chance. Okay, so now we are through my Shelves in the City books, and we're gonna dive into ARCs and other books that I have been sent. I am out of breath. So first up we have Soul Gazer by Maggie Rapier, and this book is one that I've been anticipating for a while now. I have been mutuals with Maggie for what feels like years, probably ever since 2020, 2021, and when I found out that she was writing a book and the premise of the book, I was like, I need you in my life, okay? And so I was very fortunate to be able to get my hands on a copy, and I devoured this book. Okay, I ate this up. Okay? It's a fantastical world with an interesting magic system, soul stones, curses, a main character that resonated so deeply in me that I was sobbing at the end. It's got a sexy pirate captain and a marriage of convenience where they're like, it's only for da-da-da-da, but then they actually fall in love. Love that. Love that so much. This book is beautiful and it is a triumph of a debut. Okay, you will be invested from page 1 till the end, and this story is beautiful and again resonated so deeply within myself. It made me feel all the feels. The romance was top tier, the tension was palpable, pacing was phenomenal, and I cannot rave enough about this. Look at the cover of this book and tell me this is not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Okay. Next up we have a arc called Shield of Sparrows by Denby Perry, and this book literally on the top says, if you're not terrified, you're doing it wrong. Work. So this is a high fantasy involving, I believe, an arranged marriage as well, monster hunters, you know, monsters running amok in this fantasy world, and a badass FMC. This book seems right up my alley. High fantasy, monstrous world, enemies to lovers. What more could you want? Next up we have I Am the Swarm book, or rather it's like told in like prose, like in poetry basically. And this is such a raw look into using magic that runs in a family through the female members and is passed down from, you know, mother to daughter in an unflinching, raw way. And the main character of this, her magic is tied to insects that reflect her like internal world. And when I tell you that this book hits hard, it does. So please check the trigger warnings for this before picking up, because it deals with a lot of really serious topics and I think is such a interesting and unique and refreshing way to approach such subjects. Very unique and I think definitely worth picking up. Next we have another Emily Howard book, and that is Lady Night. If you like the vibes of Bridgerton or, wow, what's that one show? Or The Buccaneers? There's another show, The Buccaneers. If you like the vibe of that, you're gonna love her work. So this author writes books that kind of follow the diamond of every season, quote unquote, and this is the second one. I did read The Queen's Bee, which I believe is the first one. I am very interested in this book because very rarely do I like friends to lovers, but I think that her writing style is going to get me to love it, so really excited to dive into this. Next we have a sapphic witchy romance, which you know, again, right up my alley. The two witchy main characters of this book were once best friends, now ex-best friends, and they have to work together because Sage's apothecary shop is in danger. So I, again, don't love second chance romances. I have a feeling, I have a hunch, that this book is going to make me fall in love with second chance romance. So I'm really excited to give that trope a second try through this book, and I think it's perfect to read this summer and fall. And can we just appreciate how cute this cover is? I hope my lipstick's still on. So in Dating and Dragons, we have two of my favorite things coming together: D&D, TTRPGs, and books and romance. So if you haven't read Dungeons and Dating, this is the second book kind of set in the world, and it follows two people playing at a D&D table together that is, I think, streamed online, and they have a rule at the table that players cannot date other players in real life, right? But then these two players start to have feelings and, you know, maybe fall in love. Next we have Summer Girls, which again seems like the perfect beach lake read, and it is about, I think, a little like tourist town. I want to go into this not knowing a lot, so that's all I'm gonna say today. But I love this author because I read Some Girls Do and really enjoyed it, so I think I'm gonna love this one as well. Next we have a little bit of a spooky book scent, and that is Unhallowed Halls. Okay, if this color and the aesthetic of this book doesn't like grab your interest, then again, I think you're on the wrong channel, because this seems right up my alley. So this is about a dark academy for troubled students, and it's set in, so this is set in Scotland. It seems very atmospheric, very secretive, very secretive. There's a little like pig in the doorway. Don't know what that's about, but I can't wait to find out. So this is probably gonna terrify me, and I am very excited to read it. OMG, hello there. So awkward running into you here. What a coincidence. Yeah, so I forgot to film an outro. I was too busy thinking about the thumbnail and stressing how I was going to physically hold up most of these books that I forgot. So this is the outro. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to be a decent human being. Support your local libraries. Check out these great books. And if you want to check out any of my other social medias, they are listed on this screen. And if you are not, please consider subscribing. Okay. That's all I got. So, bye.